I hated him, like hated. Like the boy will be crying like this, I screaming his lungs out, and I'll just be looking at him and wondering what's even wrong with this one. And that was because of something someone said to me just a few days after I gave birth to him. So my name is Christiana, and this is Christy's Pause. On this channel, what we do is motivate ourselves to be who God has called us to be. So I want to share my experience on what led to me eating my first baby, and let's get to this. Okay, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christiana, and this is Christy's Pause. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for being amazing. And if you are seeing my beautiful face for the first time, my name is Christiana, and what we do on this channel is to motivate ourselves with God's word to be who He has called us to be, and other things in between. You know, recently I started talking about my experiences, my past experiences that has helped me to be who I am today. I'm sure you enjoy being on this channel, so you might want to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Okay, so if you're a returning subscriber, you know that this background you're seeing is totally new, not what you are used to. I'll explain that in subsequent videos, but for today, let's just enjoy the view. I think this view is beautiful, don't you think so? Okay, so let's get to the reason for today's video. Okay, so I had my baby in 2014 October, my first baby, my first pregnancy ever, and the delivery process was just traumatic. Okay, so throughout the pregnancy, I had a very smooth one. There was no issue. In fact, people will see me and be like, "How are you?" Like, especially my first trimester, like in the first few months, people will be like, Are you sure you're pregnant like this?" Because of course they were expecting all the sicky throwing up things, which I later had with my other babies though. Okay, so for the first one, we were expecting are you sure you have even pregnant at all? And the pregnancy period was so easy, so smooth, so yummy. So, the pregnancy was, but the delivery process was just so. Okay, so let me start by saying that during of course, as a first time mom, there are a lot of suggestions, a lot of advice. Okay, so register in general hospital, no, register in private hospital. But I did what I wanted to do. I registered in private hospital because Nigeria hospital, I cannot allow myself to fall into labor and I'll get to the hospital, they'll start telling me doctors are on strike, nurses are clinical. I just decided to pick private hospital JJ without issue. And of course, that was not what caused my traumatic experience in my delivery. Okay, so it started by I got to, I think, 41 weeks. I was not falling into labor. So the last antenatal I went for, I think at 41 weeks, the doctors told me, okay, so before then, I'd been having few times when I'll have Braxton aches. There was even one night I remember very vividly. We tried to rush to the hospital because the pains I felt that night was so bad. I was like, okay, so I think this labor is starting and all that. And before we knew it, the thing I've gone. I was not feeling it again. So 41 weeks, I was not feeling anything. They did one procedure. They said I should start feeling labor. Nothing happened. So remember, at 41 weeks, I went for antenatal, and the doctors were like, I had to come in for induction. And at that point, I have to be honest with you, at that point, I was tired of being pregnant. Like, what is it? And in fact, the way people you went for antenatal together, you just be hearing that, that's that fair lady that used to say she has given birth. Oh, that tall lady that used to she has given birth to twins. She gave birth 2 days ago. And you're like, okay, so when they said from 36 weeks, is it 36 weeks? From 36 weeks, the baby is ready to come out. So why is this baby not coming out? So 41 weeks, I went for induction to be induced, and that was when everything just went zoom. During the pregnancy, I was reading Supernatural Childbirth. If you had watched, I think one of my videos, I mentioned this. I was reading Supernatural Childbirth, and Supernatural Childbirth told me that, what I understood by reading that book was just pray, believe God, your delivery will be very, very easy. And when the induction started, was the pain was I'm not even trying to scare you or anything, but the labor pain was, and it was later I heard that induction, when you are induced, the pain is more. I don't know. The pain is more. I didn't experience if you are not induced, so I can't say for sure that the pain is more if you are induced more than if you fall into labor naturally. The pain was crazy. The pain was not it at all. So I went through all that for hours. I was induced on, where was it, Saturday afternoon or thereabout. Sunday evening, I was still there. I can't even remember how the thing went, like, exactly, but throughout Monday I was just screaming my lungs. They told us, right, and Santa, not to scream, right? But oh no, no, I could not just imagine not screaming with the amount of pain I felt. So throughout Monday, I was still, at some points, Nigerian nurses and doctors, they will not shame somebody. They will. The one of the nurses came to check me and said, this lady is ready to deliver. They carried me to the delivery room. I got them. Another nurse said, this one is not even ready at all. They took me back. So imagine, there was this relief I felt when I was being taken to the delivery room, and I felt, thank God, this is about to be over. And when I was taken back again, oh my gosh, so like the pain came back in decibels. If I think there's something like that, like in multiple fold, I was like, oh God, so this is not ending yet. So it was like that, and so it was on Monday night. The doctor said, sorry, your pelvic is small or something. We'll have to do an emergency cesarean section. The baby is becoming distressed. Before then, they had what's it called? They had busted my water, so they said they had to do an emergency cesarean section. And I was like, okay. So after going through all this pain, after screaming my head off, I'll still have to go through, before then, cesarean section was, as far as I was concerned, was something that I was too much of a child of God. They just see the way I'm talking. Can you notice the way I'm talking with my lips, with my tongue? I was so much of a child of God to go through cesarean section because of all the things, the kind of prayers people were praying on Nifabek baby and all that. And that had kind of put me in a state of believing that cesarean section was not meant for people that believed in God. I don't know. And I was discussing with a friend some weeks ago, and this mentality, and most times it is pastors, it is religious leaders that feed the minds of people with these lies. It is a lie. It is the lie of the devil, actually, to believe that cesarean section is not for the children of God. I believe that everything that God has provided us with to make our lives better, if he has not given people that knows about it the wisdom, they wouldn't have been able to do it. We know from the scriptures that every wisdom we have, everything we are able to do is as a result of God giving us the wisdom. And all these things are just, God's wisdom in human beings to ensure that our lives are better. So I was fed with that lie. It was a lie, actually. And that was when the whole thing started from. That was where it started from. Like, okay, so I still have to go through cesarean section. Okay, no problem. I don't want to die. Let me just go through this and just, let this pain just end. Let this pain just come to an end. I was done. I was ready. So we went to the theater, and okay, baby was fine. Thank God there was no complications. This even though it was an emergency cesarean section, it went very, very smoothly. There was no issue, no complication. There was no, there were some that, I don't know, there were some situations for emergency cesarean sessions where either the mother would have complications or the baby will have to go through, the process of being given oxygen and all. For us, there was nothing like that. It was okay. But the devil blinded my eyes to see, from seeing this no complications, to seeing my head, my thoughts were focused on the fact that cesarean sessions was not meant for the children of God. Anyone that goes through cesarean session, God does not love the person, but the person is a sinner, and cesarean session is a punishment of God upon the person. So I was still trying to feel okay. Thank God I'm good. My baby is fine. I'm fine. Then come the process of, you have to feed the baby. And as a first timer, I don't know, there was no milk let down. Breast milk was not coming in. So it was practically like I could not feed my baby. My baby was crying. They were having to find other alternatives to feed him and all that. So I started having this feeling of inadequacy, like I was not okay, so I was not strong enough to give birth to the baby myself, and now I can't feed my baby and all that. So all those made me feel okay. That was where all those things started from, gradually. And of course, at that point, I was looking like, okay, I was feeling like I was not adequate. But it gradually moved to the point of I started disliking my baby, that maybe it's even the baby. They said the baby was too big to pass through my pelvic. Okay, so maybe it's the baby that is too big, or da and all that. And that was how, depression started setting in. But unfortunately, I didn't even know that was depression. I didn't know I didn't know there was anything called depression. Actually, I didn't know. And gradually I started having this dislike for my baby. I was like, I wish I wasn't pregnant. I wished I didn't have to go through delivery. I wish I didn't have go through all the pains I went through and all that. And so like that, we stayed in the hospital for about 4 days before we were released, or 5. Then we went home. That when we got home, I started feeling somehow a kind of way. And I kind of frustrated my mother-in-law because she didn't understand what was going on. She did not understand how somebody will have an healthy baby and she herself will be healthy, and she's crying all over the house. Because that was what I was in, crying all over the house, like crying at every corner. Like I just discovered that at every point, at every opportunity, I am crying. And I didn't know what was happening to me. I tried talking with somebody who had not given birth to any baby. So she didn't even know, she wasn't a medical doctor, she had not experienced childbirth. So she didn't understand what I was going through. But the straw that broke the camel's back. Before I tell you the straw that broke the camel's back, have you subscribed to my channel? Please subscribe to the channel right away. Please click on the subscribe button. Click on that subscribe button. Click it. Thank you. Okay, so I was saying the straw that broke the camel's back was on the naming ceremony. Okay, so I'm a Yoruba, and we do our naming ceremonies on the 8th day after the baby is born. So on the naming ceremony day, people came earlier in the day. The name ceremony was slated for 4 p.m. or 5 in the evening. And people came earlier, church members, family members, friends. They came earlier in the day to help with, okay, so what are the things you want to do? Cooking and all that. And there was one woman. I don't know how she got to know that I gave birth through cesarean section, and she just said, you are just a lazy person. Please note that it was not like we were close. We were not close. We were not, before now, we were not close. We were just, acquaintances. Is that what they call them? Like, just hi, hello. We're not close. So what made her feel what made her felt she had the right to tell me I was lazy? I had no idea. They're like, you're lazy, you're a lazy person. Is it not to push and bring out the baby? What's the big deal in that one? Though at that time she had two babies already. So it's reinforced the whatever it's what she was saying that made me feel actually that I was lazy, because of course she had gone through the process, so she could actually say whether I was lazy or not. You're lazy. You're a lazy person. So they had to, you made your husband spend more money than he was supposed to spend. You're a lazy person. Eyole sha, oleni. And that was what scattered everything. All the way I've been trying to, needle things together, try to make sure that things don't get out of hands. That statement just scattered everything. Like, everything just... So immediately she said it, I went to my husband. I was like, see what this person said. And in his usual manner, he tried as much as he could to tell me that don't even mind her. What she's saying is rubbish. Don't mind her. She's talking in the nonsense. What's she saying? Does she know the pain you went through? Does she know how you had to the things you had to do before we decided to do the serious session? Don't mind her. She don't mind. Don't even let what she's saying affect you. But it was too late. It had affected me. It had affected my mental health. My mental health have entered one chance. And that was how I entered, a process of hating my child. Like, it was terrible. Um it went beyond hating my child to questioning God. Like, why would God allow this to happen to me? Was I not holy enough? Was I not good enough to be one of those that experience that process without going to the theater? Was I not good enough? Was I not, I was not a sinner, I was holy, I was, paying my tithes. I started questioning God. And that process took me through a journey of, detaching myself from God. Like, I detached myself to the extent that when I go to church, one of my favorite sessions in church till now is still praise and worship. During praise and worship, I'm just like looking at everybody and wondering, are these ones okay? Did they smoke something before they came to church this morning? Because everything started looking like nonsense to me. Like, everything started not making sense. My baby will be crying. I'll just look and move my eyes away like, you'll be fine. And it was not a good experience. It was a very, very terrible time. It was a very, very bad time. Thank God for somebody he used. I don't know. I don't know how the devil planned it, but nobody around except my husband anyway. Nobody in church. Nobody. No. None of my pastors around at that time noticed that something was wrong with me. Nobody. But nobody noticed or nobody came to meet me about it. Just one of my pastor's wife that was not in the country at that time called me from outside the country to say that something is wrong, that the Holy Spirit is just telling her, has been, that I've been on her mind for the longest time, like, and she has been trying to check the time difference so she could call at a time that will have a very long time to talk and all that. She has a very deep feeling that something is wrong with me. And when she called, I was like, no, nothing is wrong. I'm good. I'm fine. But she was like, she's convinced that something was wrong. And she was the one God used to draw me out of that journey into a dark alley. I've been a dark path. I'm grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to God and to her that she yielded to the voice of God, that she heard God's voice, and she was available to help me out from that situation. That lady would I still see her till I still saw her about 3 weeks ago. And she wouldn't have known that she did something like that in how many years ago now? My son is 7 now. About 7 years ago. She wouldn't have known that she did anything. She wouldn't have known that she said something that set me. She was not the one that set me on the path, but she was like, her words pushed me into I was still, on the outside, on the peripheral. I was still on the outside of the path, trying to see, am I going to enter? Am I going to stay inside? Am I going to? But what she said pushed me, like literally pushed me. Literally. English is hard. What she said literally pushed me into that path, and it was God's grace that brought me back. So let your words be seasoned with grace. Like, whatever it is you want to say, if it's not going to help, if it's okay. So when she told me I was lazy, what was she trying to do? We did not ask her for medical bills. We did not ask her to help us come and sweep the floor of the house. Abi help us to carry the baby. Abi like do anything. It wasn't like we asked for help. So when she told me I was being lazy, what was she trying to achieve? So whatever it is you want to say to somebody, think about it well. Think well. The scripture says, let your words be seasoned with grace. One version says, let your words be seasoned with salt. Imagine food without salt. Imagine how tasteless it is. Words sometimes If it is not seasoned with salt, it can be tasteless. Imagine if what she had done that day was encouraging, oh, your baby is so cute. I don't know. It could have, maybe like brought me back or help me to not go that deep into depression at all. But let your words be seasoned with grace. And for every religious leader, as is saying, Caesarea, somebody was praying for, yeah, it was just recently, somebody was praying for a pregnant woman, was saying that they will not use knife to bring out the baby. Biko kwano. Whether they use knife to bring out the baby, I mean, the woman push by herself and bring out the baby. What is the most important thing? That the baby is fine and the mother is fine. Is that not the most important? Please let us know the kind of prayers we pray for people, because even those kind of prayers also bring about a mentality. Be careful with the kind of advice you give to people. Be careful about the kind of things, especially if you're in a position where people look up to you for advices and all. People look up to you to, when they come to you, they whatever you say to them helps them to form a big part of their life decision. Be careful so that you don't, have people's blood on your hands. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this particular matter. Have you met anyone that had postnatal depression? Have you met anyone? Were you the one that had postnatal depression? How was it? How did you come out of it? I think by sharing these stories, by sharing these our experiences, other people that might and that was the reason I decided to share this. Other people that might be on the verge of falling into depression, or be on the verge of pushing people their words with the things they say with their mouth. We can all together know that sometimes the things we say hurts people more than we think, and we sometimes don't have to take everything people say to heart, just so we can have our health, we can have our mental health, our emotional health, our emotional health, intact and all. So share with me in the comment section. Let's share this story so that people can learn from our experiences and become better, and live better lives as a result of these experiences we are going to be sharing. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you very much. Thank you. If this video blessed you, consider hitting the like button, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you very much. You can share this video with someone you think might be blessed by watching. Thank you very much. Till we see in the next video. Have a beautiful life. Bye.